Hello and welcome to Whilton Mill for round 6 of the 2017 FAB-Racing British Mini Bike Championship. We've got 2 full days of exciting race commentary, live visual radio here on FAB-Racing and on motorsport.radio. I'm Dan Marr, your commentator for the weekend. Find out what's going to happen with all the championships live here from Whilton Mill on Facebook and online.
Ready.
Hello and welcome to Whilton. Go!
This is the FAB-Racing British Mini Bikes Championship.
Hello and welcome. Good morning. This is live coverage from round 6 of the 2017 FAB-Racing British Mini Bikes Championship from Whilton Mill. It's a slightly overcast and blustery morning here, and we have a full live package of radio coverage for you this fine Sunday morning. Starting off in just a moment, we've got the first race of the AC40 Rookies coming up for you, and that is followed by the Mini GP50s Senior Mini Motos. Race number 2 is after that. Following them, it's the Junior LC40 race, and all throughout today's coverage, we'll be streaming live on Facebook as well. On the Facebook live stream, we'll have live timing coverage as well, and lots of action surely to be had on track. We will be taking your messages of support as well, so if you're here at the track listening to us either online, listening via the Spreaker app or the Mixler app, or listening via the Tannoys as well at some point, then do get in touch with us. We are live on Twitter, it's at FAB-Racing. We are live on Facebook, FAB-Racing as well. We're also streaming live on motorsport.radio as well, and as if that wasn't enough places to be streaming live, we're also streaming on the FAB-Racing website, coolfabracing.com and motorsport.radio. Wow, so many. I don't think the championship has been so well covered with live streams before, certainly. Yesterday's races were the races, incidentally, that were filmed live for the people who are at the track today. Just letting you know that. And today's commentators, please welcome back. It is Alex Raby and Dan Marr. Hi, guys.
Well, good morning, and for those of you who are time disorientated thanks to Leicester's little faux pas, it is 2017. It is round number 6 of the 2017 FAB-Racing British Mini Bike Championship, and we are trackside here at Whilton Mill. The man who took you through the action yesterday, Dan, is alongside me. Dan, an entertaining day yesterday by all accounts, as I understand.
Well, yes, it was quite an entertaining morning. It had some great racing yesterday. Of course, 1 set of racing yesterday, 2 sets, 1 this morning and 1 this afternoon. So it is going to be a great day's racing. And in fact, the weather conditions are a lot more different compared to yesterday. It was fantastically warm and sunny throughout the course of yesterday. But now, certainly at least, it's quite overcast, greyish compared to what it was yesterday. So a bit of a contrast as compared to the riders who were pretty much heat-soaked yesterday's racing today, and they might actually be wet-soaked.
Well, that's certainly the weather forecast. Well, there's loads of different weather forecasts that are being passed around at the moment, but several of them stipulate that there shall be rain at some point during the course of today's proceedings. Whether that comes in this second block of races remains to be seen, or whether that will come on round 3 of the races here this afternoon after the lunch break remains to be seen. We're just building up towards the first of the blocks of races. As ever, it's 10 separate race categories split over the 9 races in each round of races, and each is scored separately, but each counts towards the championship as well. First up, as Leicester's already explained, will be the AC40 Rookies, and in fact they will very shortly be lining up out on the circuit.
So they'll be out now. And of course, they're also racing at 10 to 2 this afternoon. So we've got 2 races for every category, as you were saying, Alex, throughout the course of the day. We've got the Mini GP50s up Next, Senior Mini Motos, Junior LC40s, PB140 and Moto teams, Mini GP70s, PB Opens, the AC40 Pros, and the sidecars will take us to a close before the lunch break and indeed at the end of this weekend's fantastic racing for round 6 of the 2017 Cool FAB-Racing British Mini Bike Championship here at Whilton Mill. But I think our first race, the AC40 rookies, are out on their green flag lap.
And yesterday it was Sullivan Mounsey who kicked off with a race win ahead of Harrison Crosby. Those two lining up on the front row of the grid once again. Of course, the qualifying positions determining the grid positions for each of the 3 races. So we have got 1 or 2 riders who finished up in the top 5 in yesterday's race, starting a little bit further back down the grid and having to work their way through again, as they did first time out in race 1 yesterday. In terms of the current complexion of this championship, it's Harrison Crosby who leads the way on 295 points ahead of Luca Hopkins on 264. They line up in 2nd and 4th positions on the grid respectively, while Jamie Woodcock qualified 9th. He's currently 3rd in the point standing, so he has a lot of work to do now if he wants to keep pace with those two, Crosby and Hopkins, who are on the front 2 rows of the grid. And in fact, the top 3 on the grid are the last to settle in here at the start line. Already have Harrison Crosby on the outside of the front row, 2nd position on the grid. Sullivan Mounsey due in alongside of pole position. Race winner here yesterday. Currently 7th in the championship, having missed some rounds due to injury earlier on in the campaign. 2nd row of the grid, Kyle Payne, who finished in 4th place, currently 4th in the championship as well. He's on P3. 4th place on the grid, Luca Hopkins, 16 points for 3rd position in race 1. 2nd in the championship, as I've already said, 31 points in arrears. Sullivan Mounsey just settling in now off pole position. 3rd row of the grid will be Alfie Davidson and James Rose. Each of the riders just settling in ahead of their initial laps here to get us underway with race number 2 in the AC40 rookies. So the riders setting off then on their warm-up lap. Dan, you saw the action yesterday in terms of the top performers on the grid. Those were the top performers in the first race as well.
Yeah, certainly, and it's going to be an interesting one. Of course, we saw great battling with the AC40 rookies as ever here at the Cool FAB-Racing, and of course, after yesterday's sort of first encounter, it will get a bit more feisty as the riders just get a bit more used to the Whilton Mill circuit. Of course, it is a little bit wider, quite a bit longer, and a little bit wider than certain other circuits. So, compared to some where they might be considered a little bit more Mickey Mouse, definitely one of the more flowing and overtaking happy opportunities for that. I wasn't quite sure actually. Saw there was a space left open for Luca Hopkins on the grid in 4th place. I'm not sure whether we will take up that position, but as you were saying, that could change the complex of the championship somewhat.
Yes, Luca Hopkins currently 2nd in the standings, 31 points back. Harrison Crosby fairly comfortable, hasn't had a consistent challenger, has had Jamie Woodcock started off the season brilliantly. He's dropped back a little bit now in 3rd position in the standings. Sullivan Mounsey has shown occasional good form, but it's Crosby who's been the consistent one, and he is the rider who leads the way. He's 2nd on the starting grid here. We'll keep a lookout, but it doesn't look as though at the moment we have a rider in 4th position on the grid. So that may well answer your question there, Dan.
It's quite a big
At the moment
shot.
we have a vacant slot of P4. So it's Sullivan Mounsey on pole, then Harrison Crosby, race 1 runner-up alongside the top 2 from race 1 on the top 2 positions on the grid. Kyle Payne lining up in 3rd position, completing the 2nd row of the grid, the lone rider off that 2nd row. Riders then watching for the lights, and we will get underway with the first race of day 2 here at round 6 in the 2017 Cool FAB-Racing British Mini Bike Championship. Good start there from Sullivan Mounsey. He is first away. Harrison Crosby tucking straight into second position. Carl Payne in line as well. The top three breaking away slightly, and in fact it's the early race leader who has already started to build up an advantage as we see side-by-side action at the far end of the circuit for second position, and that looks as though Kyle Payne is trying to work his way through at the expense of Harrison Crosby, who certainly dropped down to third position as they make their way into the infield section for the first time.
Yeah, it's looking rather close indeed. Again, as you said, just the gap for the lead, it has built a little bit. It seems to get a decent start. We saw this yesterday. It was either the rider in second place or the rider on pole position. Just got such a great launch and builds up quite a tremendous gap. And it looks like more the battle for fourth place at the moment, which is going to be one to watch. The top three just pushing away enough in order to really get out of the tow. Fourth and fifth backwards, but especially for fifth place as they come through pit bend, the final corner for the first time, and come over the line is going to be one of the battles to watch. But of course, Sullivan Mounsey in the lead of the race ahead of Kyle Payne and Harrison Crosby, who has dropped back actually down to third. James Rose in fourth place. Fifth place, therefore, is actually looking like quite a good battle as they head up towards Christmas Bend for the second time out of 8.
Jamie Woodcock in the mix in that battle, came over the line at ninth at the end of lap 1, and as you said, Dan, it's a real pack of riders from sort of fourth position down, a group of 5 riders at the moment. Jamie Woodcock 1 position from the back of that group, on the tail here of I think Orlando Phillips making his way through as well. So various riders who've started further down the grid trying to make their way through, and as you quite rightly explained, a group of 5 riders there in a pack altogether from fourth position down, and it's fifth position that's most closely contested at the moment, side by side as they come out of the infield section. Almost 3.
Oh, there's contact there. Contact.
We've got a faller, as you said, just coming into the boot there, and rider down at the moment, but making their way up to knees with the bike moving away, and the race continuing for the moment as Sullivan Mounsey who leads, Carl Payne in second, Harrison Crosby still in third. It's the orange overalls of Orlando Phillips who has gone down coming into the boot. He has, as I said, moved away from the circuit, which is clearly the first priority. The race continuing, therefore, under yellow flags, but frustrating for Orlando Phillips, who'd come through from 12th on the grid well into that pack of 5 riders. We said already that they were really closely grouped together, and Orlando Phillips trying to make an extra position up to come through for 6th place, ends up coming a cropper
red flags
into
out,
the
red
boot.
flags. Red flags out, so the race being stopped briefly as far as we could see. Red flags are out, so the contact there obviously being looked at just at the moment. In fact, interesting point, we mentioned on the grid Luca Hopkins didn't take the start. Well, in fact, we got him up in the commentary box. So just so Luca, disappointing for you?
Yeah, it was really disappointing because I am like a championship fighter, so this is going to like set my championship back quite a bit now.
And so why did you not take the start then? Just let us know.
I got some problem with my leg, and we don't really know what's up with it, but it's been going on for quite a while now. It first started at Red Lodge, when I didn't have the best weekend ever just because of my leg, but I did really well to like stay on all weekend.
Well, it's a shame for you because you qualified really well. 4th place for you in the 3 races, so that was a good effort. It's a shame you're not out there, though. I bet it's a bit different coming up into the commentary box to come and watch.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair enough. Well, we'll keep you in. We'll keep you in to give us a bit of an insight into the race when we get back underway in a short while. But as you said, obviously in the championship mix, how disappointing is it to sort of be ruled out with this sort of injury?
Because I'm basically hoping that my championship is still alive for the next few rounds, because I should be able to race in GYG, but I'm basically just hoping that I'm still chances are Harrison will open up more of a gap, but I'm just hoping that I still stay second.
And of course, Whilton Mill, fantastic circuit. Have you been enjoying it this weekend?
Yeah, it's been really good. We had some problems on Friday, but then yesterday I had a great battle with Harrison, and I managed to get third.
Do you know what problems you were having on Friday? Were they just little problems, or?
I just think we were working on the bike setup a lot on Friday, so I just think that I were like struggling with settings and things.
One good thing for you is if it pours down with rain later, you'll be the one who's standing in the dry,
Yeah.
and all your mates are going to be getting wet.
Yeah. And it's also horrible in the wet round here, so.
Oh really? That's not a good sign, is it?
So No, so it is actually quite good that I'm not racing. If it rains, because people could get bad results.
Well, it's interesting as well because yesterday it'd be a complete contrast from yesterday. It was really hot yesterday. Was it difficult on the bike when it was in those sorts of temperatures, or?
Well, we didn't struggle with grip anyway. So and we also had tyre warmers on, so we didn't struggle with grip anyway. So me and Harrison could just battle away, basically.
But of course, just a handful of meetings left to go, so hopefully, as you say, you can stay in the championship fight. But again, as we say, it's disappointing when you can't go out there